On this video, we're going to cover advanced dowsing methods we call divine gesture. And basically we're going to learn how to douse with only using the hands. No rod, no pendulum, nothing like that. We're going to use the same basic format for discerning that we always use. So we'll be using the same yes, no, or yes response, no response, uninstall, and install. But we're going to be using it with no rod and no pendulum. So divine gesture is easy to do. In fact, a lot of times you could just go right into it instead of learning the rod or the pendulum, but this way it takes you in steps so that you can get it no matter what. The trick to being able to do it, so to speak, is to be able to open yourself up to be used and moved. And position helps a lot as far as posture of the arm and hand. And you want to be like a puppet on strings, and you're going to lift your arm up like so and hold in a position something to this effect. And if you take a look at how the posture is, the elbow's slightly bent and the wrist is kind of like I'm holding a glass or something to that effect. And so this is a nice natural posture that allows chi flow to go on this side. And I can say from here, I just relax, and it's like, again, it's like I'm using the joints to kind of suspend the arm in space instead of using my muscles to hold. I want to be open. I want all the joints to be open, not tense. And so I say, give me a yes response. And I feel the sensation of moving up and down. And so I just kind of let it move. At first, you might want to give it a little bit of help. Okay, you kind of feel it, and so you just kind of go with the flow. And so you're training the energy to move. So I say, thank you. And it slowly stops. So give me a no response. And the arm moves left and right. And again, I feel the pulling, and so I just kind of move it along that line, very slightly. When you begin, eventually you'll get to where it just kind of moves all by itself, as long as you put it in the posture to be able to move. Notice that if I straighten my wrist, it doesn't move as well. Okay? And so when I relax the wrist, then it goes back to moving again. It's because the joints have to be open for this chi to flow through it. So there's enough power to power the muscles and move them with the divine energy. So when I do an uninstall, okay, and all of a sudden it just starts to move. Okay, now the whole arm may move, or just the hand may move. And that's the same thing with no or yes type based responses. So I would do an uninstall, something to this effect, and it'll continue to spin. Again, I just suspended by strings, imaginary strings, so to speak, and it continues to spin until such time as it's done, and then it will relax and stop. And then I can lower my arm back down again. Same thing with an install, except of course it'll spin clockwise. So if I give me an install, and then the wrist slowly starts to turn. Thank you. And it'll go ahead and stop. And so you can utilize this as a form of detection. I mean, it's the same exact technique. Nothing has really changed, except now you're not having to be dependent upon having a utensil of some type to be able to do your dowsing technique. So you can do it anywhere, anytime. Does this person have a headache? And it moves left to right. And so you know what's going on. So you can use it the same exact way. Nothing new here. Okay, it's just a matter of practice. And so I'm going to show you a couple of drills that you can do to practice doing it. And just remember, it's all about the feeling. You've got to be able to feel it. Feel a little tug this way or that way. And that's the way it'll start out. In the beginning, it'll feel really weak. So we just kind of got to work with it. And the more you work with it, the more it starts to go. A lot of people don't get the big responses that I get, but that's because I've been doing it for a while. It doesn't take very long to get those kinds of big responses. It's just a matter of practicing it just a little bit. and being open for it to move you and let you do what you need to do. So now I'm going to show you some drills that you can practice. And so maybe make your fingers straight like this and hold your arm down to the side and say, give me a yes response. And you'll see that, you know, I'm kind of got my arm locked in a L shape. Give you a side view of that. Okay. And so it works pretty good. I can feel it because this creates like a vertical energy pattern, but you know, so it's a little bit more responsive to a yes, but it won't be near as responsive to a no. So I say thank you. Okay. And so give me a no response. And see, it doesn't hardly move at all. And so I say this is only for like vertical energy. So thank you. So now I'll turn my hand over and I turn my elbow out to the side and I say give me a no response. Okay, now I get a big movement because this is like a horizontal type of energy. Alright, so by placing my hand flat and having my elbow this direction or this direction, I can make the yes or no response. And so I can get a feel for it. It's a little bit more noticeable as far as feeling goes. So with the uninstall, you can do a different one, which is kind of like taking your fingers and placing it together like this, and then say and holding the arm out at the same angle that you did with the spear hand strike, we call it, but do like this and say give me an uninstall. And you'll notice like the wrist, especially up in this area, really wants to move, and it just give you like a little shake and kind of a little spin. Okay, and so these are sensitivity drills. You can do the same thing with the install. Give me an install, and it'll just give me a little spin. You know, just a little spin. And so these are exercises to help you feel the energy so you know exactly what it is that you're looking for. Okay, so other than that, everything is the same. It's the same thing with the rods, the same thing with the pendulum. Stick with your yes, no, uninstall, and install, and you can move all kinds of things. Now, if you get a little bit creative, I'm going to show you a couple more advanced maneuvers that you can do with the hands that you can't do very well with the rod or the pendulum. They can do them, but again, this is a little bit better. First of all, let's take a look at what I call real-time detection, which is like finding something. We call it divine guidance. And holding the hand up in our ready position, I ask it to find, not the hand, but I ask the energy to find an item. And rather than asking, is it here, and it says yeah, is it here, no, I basically ask it to find it, show me where it is. And whatever it is I'm thinking about, it will lead me to it. And I'll feel a pulling, and I just kind of follow my wrist around wherever it points to. And so right now there's some things off camera, of course, that you can't see. And I'll think of one of those things, and the hand will slowly start to move, and then right as soon as it points to it, you know, I can look straight at the camera, and I don't have to know where it is. It'll point right to it, and I can continue to walk towards, you know, whatever it is, and it will stay in real time rather than having to ask a question and then get an answer. You're in real time detection, so you can just walk right up to whatever it is.